What up, what up, what up? ¿Qué huele mi gente? Welcome back to the Good Days Only podcast, episode number 9. All right, bringing you good coffee, good vibes, and good music. Bringing you the honest caffeine breakdowns and reviews. Hitting you with some good news, happening around the world that I might bump into on the intraweb. Happen around the world. Add a little positivity to your day during these stressful times in 2020. We're almost there to the end. And last but not least, the new GDO playlist. Stay tuned for that. I love listening to podcasts on the commute to work, or like walking the doggo, washing some dishes, or just straight up chilling. And what I'm saying is, thank you for tuning in, whatever you're doing. And I hope you enjoy these episodes as much as I enjoy doing them. It's a lot of fun. And it means a lot to me that you guys are listening. But before I get too sentimental, let's get into it. And for the caffeine breakdown, here are the 4 categories. Number 1, the coffee name and roaster. The message background that's given by the coffee masters. Okay, number 2, the roast type. Number 3, the brew style and the coffee grind type, which we have now combined. And number 4, wrapping up the section here for the breakdown with the appearance and packaging. Let me get a little sip before we get into it. A delectable cup of joe. Number 1, the coffee name and the roaster, and I've wanted to try this one for a while. It's always caught my eye when looking at the coffees on the shelves at the store. I have yet to visit them in person to their locations, but I did enjoy this coffee a lot. Y'all might have seen this one around or maybe heard the name. We got Cafe Vita Coffee Roasting Company. All right, and we got the Bistro blend here with us today in our cup, and the little legendary emblem on the front of the bag here. The little guy climbing up onto a table, or a like a corner table, coffee table maybe, and reaching his arm up in the air with a cup of coffee extended in the air, looking like he's trying to get some of that Bistro blend. All right, and he's you better take care there, guy. I don't know if it's an old guy or it looks kind of like he just got a pointy nose. I'm not sure. Got a little hat on. And I enjoyed this artwork. But this Cafe Vita Bistro blend is a blend of South American, East African, and Indonesian coffees with a medium roast profile, creating an approachable, balanced, and nuanced cup, is what they say. Grown at altitudes from 1,000 to 2,200 meters. Okay, that's what's mentioned here by the coffee creators, which, after looking into it a little bit more, is interesting. There are different sites say different things, so you can't always believe what you see on the internet. Also, people have personal blogs and personal web pages, so we don't know where they're getting their data either. So for all we know, I might be giving you wrong information here. So if you ever have a question about something, I urge you to please double check my work and go look it up yourself as well. In general, higher elevations produce denser beans. And these beans are more concentrated with sugars, so it produces a more nutty flavor in the coffee. And the ideal elevations for that, I think, are, it says 3,000 to 6,000 feet. But a little background here about Cafe Vita. They've been roasting coffee in Seattle since 1995. What a great year that was. 95, man. What a time to be alive, huh? As an independent and locally owned company, from our beginnings at the base of the Seattle Queen Anne neighborhood. Hey, shout out Queen Anne. That's where they started out. We now operate 11 cafes throughout Seattle, Portland, and New York, even out on the East Coast. Cafe Vita coffee is always fresh, imported directly from the farm, and roasted on site in Seattle, Brooklyn, and Portland. No sleep till Brooklyn. You guys know that song? What do you know about the Beastie Boys? Beastie Boys. Our thoughtfully curated, seasonally rotating selection of single origin coffees. That's a lot of S's. Damn. Highlight the diversity of flavors profiles that exist throughout the world. These are coffees specific to an individual farm, cooperative, or distinct growing region. We carefully consider elevation, soil, climate, varietal, shade cover, processing method, and seasonal influences. Dang, so they know their stuff. They've done a little bit of homework, and I appreciate that, and it shows in the coffee here. They source beans from over 11 countries, and something that I found that was really cool, that I was really excited about on the website. They hold a public brew school every third Sunday of the month at the roasting facility on Capitol Hill here in Seattle. Of course, due to COVID, classes are temporarily postponed, but something really cool for the future. Hopefully they open up their doors again and they are able to do that, because I would definitely love to attend that brew school, learn different brewing methods, probably get a little pamphlet or something. That'd be nice. Dang, I just realized I am cozy. This is we just got a Christmas tree, and we just put it up yesterday, and got the lights on there, the ornaments. It's got a little star on the very top. It's nice. Got the Christmas decorations up. And, if you're into decorating it's around the holiday season, this is awesome. And I'm excited for you, because I've never been a huge decorating fan myself. I don't know. But I think it looks cool when other people do it. And those crazy houses, the ones with all the lights and like stuff that's moving around, those are really cool. That's like to the extremes. But hey, more power to you. Everybody's got their own thing. All right. So, yes, that brew school, that'd be awesome. Let's move on to the roast type and acidity. It's a medium roast here with the cocoa powder, caramel, nougat, notes of baking spice, and dark berry fruit leather for the aromas. Okay. A medium body, moderate acidity. It's a combination of natural, washed, and semi-washed beans. And this Bistro blend made me go down the varietal rabbit hole, because what we know of, usually you hear the Robusta and Arabica beans, right? That's what you see. And this one says it's a blend of bourbon and Typica beans. Typica or Typica, Typica beans. And I was like, what? So I looked it up. And once I looked it up, there's a lot of information here. But essentially, there's this really cool graphic here that kind of helps it out. It's like a family tree looking type of deal. And you could check it out. It's at cafeculture.com, CAFE culture.com. If you're interested. If I can put the link in the description, I'll do that. But if not, that's where I found this info. But there's the Arabica and the Robusta beans, and then it branches down below those, and then there's another line. There's Typica and bourbon beans, and there's like a subset of that, which gets into a bunch of other types of beans or varietals, kind of like the wines, So there's like a Mundo Novo, Catura, Pacas, Pacamara. There's so many, and shout out to Timor. There's the Timor. But really cool information here. I haven't gotten through the entire article. I was trying to digest all the information, but it's kind of over my head a little bit. Let me reread it and get back to you on that one. But check out Cafe Culture. bistro.com. But we'll get back into the brew style and the coffee grind type. Of course, we did the pour over here. Again, medium fine grind to a fine grind. And measured it out, 45 grams of beans with about 800 milliliters of H2O. Okay, about 3/4 cups of beans and about 27 ounces of water. Still loosely following the 2 tablespoons for 6 fluid ounces that we learned a while back. So, a delectable cup of joe. We did the French press as well. More of a coarse grind for this one. Let me get a little sip. And both of these flavors were delicious. Interesting. You know, the moderate acidity is very, very much there. But there is a certain sweetness to it at the front of the palate that kind of counterbalances it. And it just works. It works. All right. Again, the aromas here, when freshly ground, some sweet, some cocoa. And I could actually smell that even before reading the tasting notes, just right when I opened up the bag. The flavors here, dark chocolate, caramel, I could definitely see that. The dark berry notes throughout, I could definitely see that. The flavor of the bean itself is very tolerable, I think, too. It reminded me like this would be a good bean for a chocolate-covered coffee bean, I think. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it has to be a specific type of bean, but this would taste good. Again, moderate acidity here, which personally, not the biggest fan of, but this works well together, you know, with that hint of the sweetness. More prominent flavors, I think I noticed from the French press, and I think that's the preferred style for me on this coffee, the Bistro blend. Yeah, so pour over still, hey, got the smooth finish with the pour over, but I think I like the French press. This bag, let's talk about the appearance and packaging. This is a slick motherfucker right here. Found out it is water resistant on accident, but was excited to know that my coffee beans had not been compromised. Accidentally dropped it in some water, but it just came right off, which I don't know what type of film this is outside the black bag. Okay, we deviated from the classic brown bag, and this just feels like I don't know what it is. It's just kind of smooth around it. It's not very porous, which I think is what allowed it to repel the water. But the little artwork, we got the little guy here extending his arm up in the air. Just a classic looking nice black bag. It's got a little bit of the tasting notes at the top and a little code that you can scan, and it'll take you directly to the website. And then you can learn a little bit more about this Bistro blend. It's got the wire seal for it. And I don't know what was up with this, but it was hard to open this bag. I actually butchered the bag because it was like when you try to open the bag of cereal as a kid, and at just like in the little corner, and then all of a sudden all the cereal's all over the floor and it exploded out. That's exactly what happened with the beans. So I don't know why. It might have been operator error, most likely, but yeah, so the wire seal not really doing it for me on this one. But overall, the flavor profile here, very distinct from the other medium roasts that we've tried. Personally, again, the acidity is a little on the cusp of almost too much for my personal taste, but it did balance nicely with the sweetness. I love the water-resistant bag. Still that wire closing mechanism, which I didn't really think worked well after I made that bag explode. But 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. B minus. Or a B in some grading rubrics out there. -1 personally for the acidity. Again, minus 0.5 because we didn't get the recommended brew styles. We went with the pour over and the press. Of course, we got a good cup of joe. Delicious right here. Let me get a little sip. But, you know, it's always nice when They have a recommended brew style. But yeah, and then minus 0.5 because that wire, man. We need a little some better than that wire seal. And I think that's across the board. But after I had that zipper pouch delivered, that changed the game for me, I think. I don't know. All in all, I think this was a very delicious cup of Joe. And yeah, I'll definitely purchase again I want to try some of the other blends. And I think they have some seasonal stuff that's coming out too. But they have a lot of stuff on the shelves, it looks like. The price point is a little bit on the more expensive end. It's like $17 or something like that for the 12-ounce bag. But hey, that's all right. I'm willing to explore that. Let's move on. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the good news. And I just updated my laptop to the Big Sur. So just trying to get used to it here. It looks a little bit different. The tabs here are different on the intraweb, and just the overall look is a little bit different. The bars here at the bottom on the Mac. So anyways, good news. Hey, all of my healthcare heroes out there on the front lines. Starbucks offering free coffee to healthcare workers and first responders for the entire month of December. Starting Tuesday through New Year's Eve, any person who identifies as a frontline responder to the coronavirus pandemic will be served a tall brewed iced or hot coffee at no cost, the company said on the COVID-19 response page. Awesome. Thank you, Starbucks. Company said those who are eligible to claim a cup of coffee included doctors, pharmacists, firefighters, mental health workers, and more. Hospital staff such as security or housekeeping staff and active duty military are also included in this offer. And guess what, everybody? There's no limit to the offer. That's right. So that's what they told CBS News. That's what Starbucks said. So we can hold them accountable. Those who qualify can claim the deal as many times as they would like through the end of 2020. So get yourself some caffeine, all right, courtesy of Starbucks. Thank you. And in addition to this, Starbucks said it has donated $100,000 to the National Alliance on Mental Illness to support virtual mental health resources for frontline responders. Because, it does take a toll. It's tough not to burn out in these times if you're on the front lines. All right. And so it says this also plans to surprise 50,000 frontline responders with gift cards and care packages during the holiday season. Starbucks is, doing a lot of stuff here. And that's very kind of them, very generous. I feel like if any company could do it, Starbucks could do it. Probably got all that. You guys got people hooked on the caffeine. But thank you, Starbucks. Everybody out there, thank you that are on the front lines amidst this pandemic. And hope everybody is staying safe. We are still rising on the cases. So that's very concerning. Word of a vaccine, coming soon, hopefully. Heard that the UK passed it, I believe. But putting some pressure on our government to allow the American people the vaccine for this virus. Let's move on. Hey, I'm gonna clap for this one. Thank you. I'm clapping for Walmart. They in the house again. All right, and I know that we mentioned them recently, but in the past they have gotten, they've come under fire, and the world's biggest retailer has awarded U.S. employees a fresh cash bonus as, we are amidst this pandemic. And it says they had distributed $319 million before Thanksgiving, which I think is what we covered. And they will dole out $388 million more on Christmas Eve. bringing a total bonus disbursement this year to almost $3 billion. Some 1.5 million full and part-time workers will receive the latest round. So that's a good little boost right before Christmas. And looks like since they were, deemed an essential retailer, all these employees have had to work, and there's a grocery union that's pushing for hazard pay, which doesn't make sense to me that they have not been paid hazard pay, because we are amidst the middle of a pandemic, and they're out here expected to show up to work and deal with people that aren't wearing their masks and sneezing and slobbering and putting their germs all over the place, so thank you, everybody that's on the front lines in that respect as well. And Walmart, good job. I hope that those of you that are employed by Walmart do receive those bonuses, and stay safe out there. Okay? And let's move to the House of Representatives, passing a federal bill that will decriminalize marijuana at the federal level. The House voted Friday on the Marijuana Opportunity, Reinvestment, and Expungement Act, or MORE Act. That's the acronym. Which decriminalizes cannabis and clears the way to erase nonviolent federal marijuana convictions. Yes, that needs to happen. Friday's vote was the first time a full chamber of Congress has taken up the issue of federally decriminalizing cannabis. Of the vote count, 222 Democrats were in favor of passing the MORE Act and 6 were against it. 5 Republicans voted in favor of it, and 158 voted against passing it. Imagine that. Imagine being those 5, that are going to be coming under fire. Everybody else is like, fuck you, dude. But yeah, I just realized that I don't know shit about how law happens. I mean, I used to. Sorry, Michelle Sizer. I know I used to know this back in high school, but it's one of those things that I guess I just have not exercised my brain on. I've not kept up with the current times and the rules and policies. Again, sorry, Michelle Sizer. But, excuse me. Let me get a little sip. Something that was truly amazing, and all the boxing fans out there, we witnessed history back last week after Thanksgiving. Saturday after Thanksgiving, Mike Tyson at age 54 coming back into the ring after 15 years of just doing whatever he wants to do. He had to lose like over 100 pounds to get back into this. He had that retired lifestyle, that retired body. And him and Roy Jones Jr., the age of 51, went at it. That's insane. There's 2 individuals that are over the age of 50 now. And at one point in time, they were each the best in the world at what they do. And so it was just insane. And I'm not even like a huge boxing fan like that, but just witnessing it was something about it wasn't until after the fact that I realized, I was like, wow, I just witnessed a historical event, like a historical moment in the boxing community, but also just as something that will be talked about for generations. And it was insane. It was, I mean, Mike Tyson is a scary motherfucker, dude, because he was still, after the fight, was still ready to go. He was looking like he was ready to run through a brick wall. Roy Jones Jr., on the other hand, he was huffing and puffing. He was a little bit tired at the end after getting that fist of fury by Mike Tyson. But good news, nobody's dead. Everybody's survived. I bet they were just in bed for like a week trying to recover from those blows. But they're all good, it sounds like. So thank you to those gentlemen for legitimately putting their lives on the line, putting their lives at risk for something that they love to do, and the entertainment factor to everybody right now, even if it served as just a distraction from everything else that's going on. It was amazing to watch. But let's round off the good news today with, that's right, a drum roll, please. That's right, you guessed it. It's giveaway time, baby. The GDO caffeine giveaway. Last one was a lot of fun, so I really wanted to do this again, and I think I'm gonna have it be a recurring thing for future episodes. I just really want y'all to be able to try these coffees. Maybe you haven't, experienced some morning passion quite yet. Maybe you haven't gotten around to the Café Carmelita, and maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have a coffee grinder, and you need a coffee grinder to be able to grind up some beans so that you can enjoy them the way that I'm explaining them. It wasn't until I started doing this podcast that I was like, dude, something I drink damn near every day, right? This coffee. And I don't really know much about it. I used to just press the start button on the Keurig, or put some pre-ground beans into the filter and just let it drip through the maker. And after starting to do this, I've learned a lot, and it's also so much fun. It's fun making your own cup of coffee in the morning, grinding the beans up, reading the label, seeing where they're coming from. And I want as many people as possible to just experience that, or at least be open to, trying that. And if it's not for you, that's cool. Keurig's fine, but at least give it a shot. So this GDO caffeine giveaway allows us to, connect on that level. And for this next one, you will, of course, same as before, have access to any of the coffees that we've reviewed on the show this far. At that point, there will be 10 episodes, so you can choose one bag this time around of those coffees, and you will also get yourself a brand new Krups coffee and spice grinder. Now, stainless steel blade, 3-ounce capacity for 12 cups of coffee. Easy one-touch grinding. Look at that. I don't use the one that we have here for spices, but I guess you could do that, coffee and spices, if you just clean it out very well. But I've only used mine for coffee, and it's worked great. So keep a lookout on the GDO podcast Instagram page. I'll be explaining a little bit more. But for now, let's move on to the GDO playlist. And, a little bit somber here, because the GDO playlist this week features Mac Miller, Malcolm James McCormick, R.I.P. to a soul taken way too soon. Any death is sad, but it's also always especially sad case when you hear, young people that pass on, that had their whole lives ahead of them. And in this case, his career was just like blossoming into something that was very special. In the time that he was with us in person, his creative mind inspired so many people, and his music is here for all of us to take in. I remember listening to Nikes on My Feet for the very first time in high school, and this was the smoothest I have ever heard a man of Caucasian descent rap over a beat. And this was off the mixtape Kids, which is an acronym for Kickin' Incredibly Dope Shit. Other songs on the mixtape that I remember listening to a lot were Knock Knock and Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. That was my shit as a teenager, and it was awesome because he was not too much older than I was, maybe like a couple of years. So I was like, dude, I feel like this guy's dope. I'd probably be friends with this guy. If like we walked by each other on the street, we'd be like, what's up, dude? But this, that was the introduction of his music to me. And he had a couple other mixtapes that he had released before that, but nothing I remember listening to that resonated with me as much as the Kids mixtape. Fast forward to 2020, and no lack of releasing albums over the years. Blue Slide Park, of course, everybody knows. Watching Movies with the Sound Off, Good AM, The Divine Feminine, and Swimming, all albums that had come out. And then the most recent album, Circles, was released in 2020. Yes, after his death back in 2018. But the final touches were made by those that worked closely with Malcolm and shared the vision that he inspired, I've thought about it a lot of times, though, while listening to the album, and most recently listening to the album. Like, what would it have sounded like if he were around, to put those finishing touches on it? But we'll never know. Personally, I love the album. Bluesy, jazzy vibes throughout this. When listening to it most recently, just realized how cool this album is. It's just like so smooth. And comparing it to his past music and seeing and hearing the transformation and, his maturity throughout the years. Again, R.I.P. to Malcolm. But I've compiled some of my favorite songs on the GDO playlist, as well as, other ones that he's featured in. So check that out. The description of the podcast will have the links. So if you listen to that on Spotify or on the Apple Music platform, you can do either of those. But for now, that's a wrap. That brings us to the end of episode 9. All right. Stay tuned. Check out the GDO podcast Instagram page for some updates and to enter that giveaway that will be happening in a couple weeks. All right. Thank you again for tuning in, everybody. Until next time. Peace.